Hi, I'm Paul Griffiths and welcome to my YouTube channel. Come along and follow me on all sorts of meaningless, pointless adventures. You'll see how not to do things, you'll see how not to drive things, how not to fix things, and you'll probably see a lot of how to break things. You'll see things from farming to heavy construction to heavy vehicle repairs. You'll see electrical projects. You'll see all types of things, not limited to anything. So jump on board and come along for some adventure with, well, me. Have a bit of a laugh and maybe even learn something.
This adventure starts in August 2020. I had been searching for a tipping trailer for my Mack for some time, and I'm after a particular style of tipping trailer because, well, I'm just not normal. You've probably all gathered that by now. I'm actually very prejudiced. I should say, I like everything Australian. I like Australian built things because, after all, this is the greatest country on earth. So I've been hunting around for some time for an Australian built tipping trailer. And to make it worse or more challenging, I want a chassis tipper. And there aren't actually a lot of chassis tippers in Australia. We don't use many. Everyone uses tip over axle trailers because they're lighter, so you can carry more for the same size trailer. But I want a chassis tipper, so there's less chance of me tipping it over in my head. That's my theory, because all the wheels stay on the ground. So I found one for sale at an auction place called Pickles Auctions in Brisbane, and bought it sight unseen because I just like to live on the edge sometimes. So this trailer took over 2 months to get here. It turned up one night, came down from Queensland, and we unloaded it, and I brought it back here, and it was the next weekend before I actually got to see it in the daylight. And, well, I thought I'll do some quick fixing ups, and straight away I noticed there was a few issues, but nothing appeared to be too major, and none of it really is. I'm just a bit fussy, I guess, and a bit, what's the right word for it? Anal. Well, I'm not. I'm just particular about the things I like. So the trailer turned up one night and we sort of started fixing it up as I went along. I knew the brakes needed a lot of work, so I decided that was probably a good spot to start. I don't know what to say. Shania Twain. Anyway, we bought this tipping trailer, triaxle McGrath tipper. It's just, you know, you get trained mechanics, and I'm not one, and they're smarter than me. It is just mind-boggling how bad some of them really are. I mean to say, really, is the air brakes weren't plumbed right, but they've actually been done. It's just plated. Look at this. It's actually plated. This is the top one here. This is the brakes. They've upgraded the brakes to Maxis because it didn't have Maxis. And when these geniuses, oh my God, I've got to find the old Maxi chambers because I had to replace them all, not because they were leaking, because the geniuses, they cut them all off too short. And as you would, so as anyone would know anything about air brakes would know that the slack adjuster has to point at a 90-degree angle when it's applied. I've got to clarify this. This should never get past 90 degrees when applied and at full adjustment. That should be the end of its travel. So you need to actually look. If you don't know, you need to look it up. Google's got all the answers there. I haven't explained it quite properly here in the video, but I'm explaining it now. It can't go any more than 90 degrees when the brake's fully applied. It shouldn't make it to 90 degrees. So when the rod is fully extended out, it shouldn't be any more than 90 degrees because that means that the brake's actually putting less pressure, not more pressure on. Hope that makes sense. And it goes back in like that and comes back out. All right, we can actually see the travel here. But what these were doing, they were already like this. Went back in, it rested on the axle. So I had to change all of them. So not to be outdone, this here is meant to have a little tag in it to sit in the slot in the axle. Now some genius has grounded it off. It's completely taken it away. I've got one here. So you can see the tag there. That drops in the keyway on the axle. I've ground it off on that one. Must have been too hard to line it up. So then we go on to, that was on the back right hand side. We'll come on to here. I'll pull this one off. And I haven't even undone it yet, and I can see that that's on an angle. Let's see if we get this in the right spot. That locking ring is on an angle, so clearly it's too hard to line it up in one of the many holes around that locking ring. It just keeps on getting better. Even the cover they put on that axle wasn't deep enough, so it's just worn away on the end of the axle. After I finally got that off, what I do, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I wrap it all in Glad wrap. It takes, or cling wrap, or whatever it is you call it, depending on the part of the world you're from, I guess. And then because I've got to do welding, it'll melt straight away as soon as something hit it. I'll wrap that in a rag and tape it on there. Leave it well protected. So there's not really much I can say. When and if I ever get all this published one day, you'll see like the Mack. It was in a big workshop. I don't know how many trucks I have. And they have their own mechanics. Les and Vern, we know that. We read it on the truck numerous times. And they just, no idea. I just can't believe it. And they're trained professionals. And I'm using that term loosely. They're mushrooms. My brother will know what I'm talking about, or spots. Just, oh my goodness, it just doesn't end the stupidity. Anyway, the good news is, things are happening slowly. I'm not dagged or anything. I'm just stunned, I think is probably the right term for it. It's just one of those things. Anyway, I kid you not. This is just outrageous. I'm on the front axle, lead axle of this trailer. This is how this bearing was held on. First of all, we had the conventional nut. Then we had a locking washer that you fold the tab over on. Then we have another nut. I kid you not. Which is all relatively normal up until that stage. I kid you not. I could not make this shit up. And then we have the actual locking washer. And then we have the bearing. It's so, God, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know. I was blaming the mechanic. Saying what a pack of dickheads they are. It might have been just someone that didn't know what they were doing. I have never seen such a specialised effort put into putting wheel bearings on. My goodness me. I know one of them had virtually no grease at all. I don't know how it survived. It's just leaves me speechless. That's all I can say. Speechless. And that's the good things. I'm not picking. I'm not giving a go at someone. It's just, you know, when it's full and it's on the back, it's 42 tonne driving down the road at 100 k's an hour. Like, pickle me grandmother if something goes wrong. It takes a lot of stopping. It takes a lot of stopping when nothing's going wrong. How could it be this bad? I just do not know. And it's past machineries. This came from Queensland. And they do machineries every 12 months. And this, it might be only 12 months old, I don't know. But someone's obviously passing all this quality up there. Just shut up. We've rebushed all the S-cams, new drums, new shoes, backing plates back on it, clean up all the gaskets, stuck heaps of grease in, and put the spacers under here. So when you do that up, it doesn't break the rocker box. And that axle's about done. Now I haven't put the wheels back on because I'm still umming the hour whether I'm going to sandblast this or not. So
I'm looking into it. I've never sandblasted a thing in my life, so have a think about it. I had to change a rocker box because, once again, trained idiots. I'll show you that one, it's not worn out. Someone had failed to put there's a bit of pipe you're supposed to put in here and put the bolt through. Someone had failed to do that and broken the ends off it, and they're actually all the same. I guess they stopped when they broke one of them. It's actually not in bad nick. So I put backing plates on the brakes over here, you can see it over there. So put the backing plates on because they've all been removed. Renew all the S-cam bushes. There's no springs are broken or anything. Up here, you can see between when it's been converted to a tri, they've welded a plate on. I'd imagine the original hangers were just welded straight onto this bit of the beam, but they've welded this like a bit of 10mm plate or 3/8 plate or whatever it is on there, and the rust has got in and swelled. So I've already done it on the back one, so I'll cut the welds here all the way along both sides, put some timber wedges in, open it up and clean it all out, then close it back, and then I'll fully weld it so it can't happen again on both sides, and that'll solve that issue. That's just neither here nor there. Like the trailer's 84 or something, 83 or something, so it's 30 something years old. That doesn't worry me. Even the backing plates, they don't worry me. I prefer to have them, so while I got it apart, we'll change them. But there's all sorts of I didn't see that before. Anyway, there's all sorts of specials on it. We'll just keep on poking along. I mean, I'm sort of debating. I might pull the tipper body off. Let's see how we go. Might get Mel in here with his excavator, or might get a crane from up the road or something and lift it off. Like, all this is just a mess. It's if in doubt, well, more bird shit on. Seems to be the plan. But it's actually a pretty straight trailer for its age. It's just needs a bit of TLC. Just to show you that I'm not making this crap up, I'll now pull the last hub off. I don't know why, I don't understand how it's so complicated, but clearly I'm not whoever did this. I've never seen this. Well, so far it's not as bad as that other hub down the back there, down that one. The one with the tyres there on. It was ridiculous. The only thing that holds it on, they ground off. So this one we've worked harder. Look at this. We'll zoom this in a bit. So we got a nut, another nut, another nut, and then the thing that you actually meant to lock it against on the nut. It's just, I've never seen anything like this. It blows my mind. I'm not trying to be smart, but really? And this came from Brisbane, where there is any number of places to buy anything you need for big trucks. Nice little 1 horsepower where I'm from, and there's nothing here, and even we get it better or closer. This is well locked. That's impressive. Okay. This is how it came off. We had the little nut, buy a bigger nut, buy another little nut, buy the locking washer, buy the bearing. Now all we really needed was the bearing, the big nut, the locking washer, and a little nut. Never. Oh my! This is just too awesome. Speechless. My goodness. Well, I don't even know why you do it that way. Only thing I can put it down to is someone didn't know, and they've just copied what someone's done before them. Or they didn't know and they've just made it up. Or they just didn't know. And so this is one of the big problems we have in today's world. I have observed is everyone just copies what everyone else does. No one actually thinks anymore. A lot of garages, truck garages, would just, the young pimple-faced kid would just put it back together as he found it and not even question it and go, it must be the way it's meant to be, it was done that way. It's not. Close. Anyway, I'm not shit canning, it's just, that's just how ridiculous shit is. I suppose I am, but I'm not trying to. Probably not coming out that way, but I'm not trying to shit can anyone. It's you can only do what you can do, and that's all. And if you don't know, well, I suppose, yeah. So look, it's simple. When it makes it to video, still haven't made the last one from a couple of years ago, but it's all there, but it's not there. All you got to do is put the outside bearing on, put the big nut on with that little pimple part sticking out towards you. You do that up until it's tight. Then you back it off, 1.5 flats, quarter of a turn, whatever you want to call it. Then this locking washer, you line it up with one of the holes going on the pimple. Then it can't undo that one. And then you just do this other one up to hold it on. That other one on to hold on. It's not hard. It's not. That's on this type of hub. On a through wharf or a pro bar axle, you just do it up and you drop a split pin through half of the axle, because they're pro bar and they're hollow axles. They're any tougher they'd rust. They're probably the best axles of the lot of a pro bar, in my humble, unbiased opinion. So you just do them up and you just drop a split pin in, and it doesn't even go all the way, and you don't even open it up properly, and it holds it. There's none of this BS. They're oil-filled hubs, which these are meant to be. Oil-filled hubs are a complete pain in the ass on trailers you don't use all the time because they leak. The old Stecco float, you just do one nut up and drop a pin, goes through the whole axle. It's not hard. This is not much harder than a car axle, only bigger. And yet some people have flanged it. How, I don't know. Anyway, enough from me. All three axles have new shoes, drums, S-cam bushes, and new rocker box, and new this and new that. Whatever's needed changing. I don't know why anyone's ground those nuts off or put them on wrong or anything else. But anyway, it's all fixed. They're all in the right way. The tab's knocked over. Backing plates are all on. I'm trying to think of what else. It's 37 degrees. I've had enough. I'm having a cool drink. So we've got everything off. The brakes, the shoes, the S-cams are out. Everything's out. The air tanks. So I've cut this here with a grinder all the way along. You can see it's rusted there. Then I just get timber wedge, splitting wedge. That's actually made of steel. And I put that in there. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Highly unlikely. Anyway, let's see. That would be a no. So, hang on. And we drive that in. Put another one in here. That opens it up so that we can get the rust out. Without using much at all. There's a finger. It's just there. And we'll get that out. And we just sort of pull it out. Anyway, I'll keep on going. Down in here, and we have a look. All the way up here. The back of this trailer, under the box, tipper body, whatever it is you want to call it, it's all been cracked. And people have re-welded, and only down the back of the tipper body, which really doesn't make much sense. It should be cracked in the middle, I would think, because the most load would be when the thing's lifted up. So what's happening? It's been welded up, people have had a few goes at fixing it. So what's happening? Now I've been a bit puzzled by this. And I'm laying in bed this morning And I think I know. Les and Vern, you've done it again. In the back of a trailer, you've got to have a bumper bar. And I've got this one pulled off at the moment because of everything else that we've been doing. So I reckon there's a bit of a hint about what's happened. There's the bumper bar. If we look, this is the top end. So you want a big heavy bit of box steel or something, it's a bit of channel iron. This is the top, from side to side. Number plate goes in the middle. But look at this. It's been butchered and broken, but actually not butchered and broken, it's been bent. It's all been bent by the rear here coming down, where it overhangs, hitting on it. That's just amazing. The tipper goes up this end. There's a pivot just sort of there. And the back obviously comes down, and the back comes down and hits on the big bumper, which is better. It's hit so many times, it's actually welded it. They've welded it up, the damaged bits. So, I'm figuring the easiest solution is to mount the bumper lower. Don't know why it wasn't done. A couple inches down to solve the issue. You can't go too low because the springs will hit when you get a big load on them. When they flatten out, they'll grow. But, I don't know. I really don't understand. You know, it's all hubs and everything. I don't understand what was going on in their head, but it was. So it doesn't really matter what I think. McGrath made everything pretty much themselves, I think. I don't know. Someone will know that better than me. So I know this spring hanger is not McGrath. That spring hanger is not McGrath. This front one, I'm pretty sure is. The old ones I chopped off the back are. And I've decided I've got to do a better job because, well, no point being too amateurish, Paul. Everyone will be having conniptions, including me, and I'll regret it forever. So what I've decided to do, I went out to my McGrath collection, and this is a proper McGrath spring hanger, from what I can tell. Now they have 2 bolt holes for the rocker box bush. These are actually McGrath rocker boxes. I think I might make some to get it right, because you can't buy, I'm 99% sure they're genuine McGrath rocker boxes. I don't know, I'm just not that smart. These are, as you can see, these are all pretty badly worn out. There's heaps of different types of McGrath axles. I don't know the full ins and outs, and I am by far not an expert, and no one actually seems to be. You've got these types that are dished in, like this. I've got other ones that have got a big webbing cast in, which I just gather is more heavy duty. I also have these type over here. They've got like a 5/8 stud, which is a McGrath special. Well, sure, other brands use it, but the only ones I know of that use them. And the bolt floats. In the bolt floats, we'll show you. Hang on, let's get back to it. On the McGrath, that's Stecco. McGrath axles, as a general rule, have a 5/8 stud. I don't know the full McGrath. I'm by far not an expert on these, but I know a bit. Not a lot though. They have special brake drums. I don't think they made the axles themselves, but they certainly made the hubs and the drums. All that was cast at Southern Cross Foundry in Toowoomba back in the day, I believe. Or Melco would be the other one, because those ones over there have got Melco on it. So if we take a close look at these, they're all dished in. The spoke on the spider comes out. Oh, and McGrath is generally a 6-spoke. Now McGrath is not always a 6-spoke. Some are 5. I don't know. I think the 6-spoke carry more weight. And then we come over to these ones. And I'm going to say these are later model. I'm open to correction. But I have a good collection of these as well. So this was the next one I was going to do over here. Let me see, can I see it cast on them? I know they've got Melco cast into them. These have got 3/4 bolts, but even these aren't all the same. These have got a bolt that goes in. These have got a stud that screws in. So everything's, but these are probably the closest I've got to a matching set. Now someone's cut the spring hangers off. What would you call them? No, what spring hangers? What would you call them? The track rod hangers, I suppose. So they're almost a match set, and even in the match set, they're not quite matched. What did I notice the other day when I was loading them up? There's one of them's, and see, these don't have a big dish in them. Those ones over there, they've got a big dish in like this. I reckon these are later model. Somewhere here, let's have a look. No, there was. Here we go. See these ones here, that's flat. This one here has got a lip on it. What does that mean? I don't know. And this one here, see, that's got like a screw-in stud. That's got a bolt. This one here's got a screw-in stud, but it doesn't have the lip. ST8 or ST314. What's this got? Well, it's got McGrath cast on it, so that's a genuine one. See? It's got McGrath. And it's also got Melco. Would have been the people that cast them for McGrath. Anyway, they're all different numbers and things, but I think they're pretty much, oh, there's something cast down there. It's got Melco. Anyway, so what I've done, gone out to the farm and picked up 3 matching McGrath, or matching-ishly McGrath axles, because it's a McGrath trailer. It's got, every axle's different on it, or slightly different. Well, they're different. So I've decided I'm going to put matching McGrath axles under it. Shoes are the same, drums are different. I'll put the backing plates on those, put the shoes on, I'll have to get new drums for it. So that's the plan at the moment. I want to actually try to restore something properly. We'll see how we go. And you can't really do that either because, well, no one even knows what it looks like to start with. And where do you stop? It's a truck. Every day it gets used, it gets changed, you know, to suit what it's doing. So I've welded up cracks in the chassis and all those things. There's a few other things that need to be fixed. One of the driving forces, I believe, is a lot of these threads on the end. Yeah, I remember if you look back to my previous post, there was wrong nuts and nuts on wrong and everything else. A lot of the threads are quite damaged on these axles, and I wonder whether I'm just going to have headaches in the future. I've pulled the pin out down the back of the tipper body that it pivots on. I've pulled the ram out. It's sitting on a float. Got the Mack here. Oh, that's the other thing that has to happen. These legs are on back to front. No one outside Australia, or probably a lot of other countries won't even a lot of people in Australia won't know what I'm talking about. Now, the handle, we'll go around the other side. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Hello, gorgeous. So this leg here, this handle here, should be on the other side, on the driver's side, as you would normally have it. But we're not worried about that, are we? Yes, we are. We're going to try to make it right, because the idea is you hop out of the cab, you come down, you drop the legs, pull the pin, climb up, uncouple it, and drive away. But if it's on the other side, you've got to run around the truck, and it's not how you do it, is it? Occasionally you see a turntable in Australia and the handle to pull it out is on the wrong side. So I've got that. It's too heavy for me to lift off with the backhoe, lift up one end. So there's all sorts of things I need to fix on this. Now, what else have I discovered? I've got some new mud guards bent up. I can't get steel long enough easily up here. The people that I used to get it from are busy making bins. So Got the new mudguards bent to go over. Despite what people said, I decided I wanted them in one piece. This would have been a bogey trailer originally. This is our new mudguards to go the full distance, because you can see there's a joint up here. So we'll get rid of that. There's a patch has been put in the back. And yeah, so you can see there's holes and things in there, so we need to resheet that. I did notice a two-way tailgate doesn't line up anymore, this bottom pin, and I didn't know why. And like so many things, the answer comes to you after a while. Now, there's a few obvious hints here. One is, there's this big wear mark here, all the way down the back. It's about 1/2 inch of rust worn into it. And that's not over this side. But what I have noticed is this gap here. I can't even see through the camera. It's about inch and 7/8 or 45 mil down the bottom. But it's about 2 5/8 at the top. So if I stand back, I can see that sides have been bent right out at some stage. That there, all these different clearances, but that's why this now no longer shuts properly, and I've cut the top off and re-welded it, I reckon. So this has all been really, really, really customised up here. And I don't know what else to say. It just has been. This has all been cut off and done. That's been bent inwards, so it'll meet. This here would have been meant to have gone in between those two. Now if we look in the back, and I've never had a good look in the back, but we will now. Why, for the first time in my life. Okay. So we can see this is actually worn through in spots. It probably actually needs relining, but we won't. We'll, you can see that wear sheets here. I'll change those and suck it all back in again on each side, and that'll tidy all that up. It's worn right through down here. We'll see how we go. It's going to be a very slow job. They welded all this shit on top. It's all squashed and stuffed to run the tarp on. Now there's a few spots it's really been dinted in, but most of it, especially over here, but as I look up, it's not too bad in most of the spots. So we'll see about that as well. Try to fix that, get rid of this ugliness. Ugh, it looks horrid. It's been reinforced. I've plated on underneath here. Not sure if we can see all that. But the problem with that is, if gravel gets in here, or sand or wherever it is, if gravel gets in behind these hooks, it can't get out. And I think they've been having issues because everything's been cut and welded and stretched and made longer and shorter and customised and improved. So we want to try to fix that up. Put a new sheet for the back tailgate. The plan today, apart from my very itchy eyes with hay fever, is to try to get this tipper body off. So I got these big beams I bought back from Adelaide. I've got one going lengthways each way, and I've got this one going sideways. If I jack this up at the back, and I'll put the pin that was holding the tipper body on, I'll try to get it in up halfway, and that'll then lift the front up, because the front here has to come up and over. I tried lifting it off, but I don't have enough lifting power anywhere. So we're going to try that. We'll see how we go after that.
Not in a hurry anyway. You can feel the endlessness, the coming of the light of day. We're talking about a chosen place. You wanna sell it in a marketplace. Well,
as you can see, we now have the tipper body off the back of the chassis, and well, I don't know what time it is, but the day's getting away on me, so we'll open the gate, drive it out, back it in, start stripping the back end apart. This beam up here is welded just both sides, it's just sort of tacked. The awful fell over while I was working underneath it. And I'll do the same to this one at some stage. Possibly not right now, and I won't weld it as much because the chance of that rolling is very slim even now, because that one there can't move. It's highly unlikely it's going to move. Things are going to go horribly wrong, but they can do. So, there we go. Oh, so open the gate, get this out, back this back in. I hope we get some sort of video. No one complains about everything. They seem to. Anyway, see how we go. Well, I'm going to finish this video up here. It's been going for way too long. Look at that. It's just going on and on. I hope you've enjoyed watching it and find something useful in it, even if it's just how not to do things. Stay tuned, if at all you're interested, for episode number 2 of Tipping Times with the McGrath trailer. Happy days. And keep the dream alive out there. See you next time.